Alright, so now we learn how to make components with JSX. Now let's make this work. Let's make this little counter do something, right? So the first thing that we want to do is we want to be able to pass down the data that we have in the state down to each component. Alright, so the way to do this is, and I want you guys to always think of it like this: components are functions. So you could always pass down, variables, objects, arrays, any type of data type, you can pass it down to it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do something like this. We're going to come here and we're going to say state, right? And we're going to come and say state equals to state. Remember this, whenever you see the little curly brackets, that's to interpret something. Interpret either an object, interpret a variable, interpret anything that you want as far as like a variable that you want it to be on a page. Like, I'm going to show you something like right now. Let's say an example, I wanted this to say 4. I could come here and say interpret this to be 2 plus 2, which is 4. We save that. So you can see automatically became 4. If I come here and say 2 plus 6, it interprets it to 8. It's just JavaScript, guys. Think of it like you're just doing JavaScript. It's HTML but with JavaScript. Okay, now let's come back to this and let's delete this for now. Let's leave 0, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pass down the state. Whatever we have here in this object, we want to pass it down to all the components so they could have access to that information. So instead of us having this hard coded here, what we're going to do is we're going to have it dynamically come down from the state. So we're going to say something like this. We're going to say title, and we're going to say counter. All right. Now down here we're gonna say total, and we're gonna say 0. Okay, so now what we want to do up here is we're gonna pass down an object, and we're gonna say something like this. We're gonna say state. All right, so we're passing down that object with the property of state, and we can name this whatever we want. So we can say state equals to state. All right, and then we'll have access to it on the header. But since we're working with ES6, you don't have to declare it 2 times. You could just come here and say like this, say state 1 time, and automatically it knows that you're talking about a property named state with the value of state. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're coming down here and we're gonna say state dot title and save that. Let's see what happens. As you can see, it says counter. If we come here and say something like counter HD, it's gonna change up here on the component. Well, technically it's down here. All right, counter HD. All right, now let's do this for all the other different components so we could pass down our data. Okay, pass this down, pass this down. Now remember what we just did here. The way how we passed it down was we passed it down through here through the props. So we're gonna use this again, all right? And I'm gonna give you exactly how's the workflow, how this thing works. Basically, we have the component. Remember, this is a function, right? So we're passing down this props, and then it comes back through here. This is the original function, right? So it comes back through here and comes back as an object, right? We get access to that object of the whole state. we get access to it through here, and then we pass that object down to the state, and then now we say state.title, which is the property of the state, which is up here, right? We got state title equals to counter HD. I don't know, I might flip this around, put this up here, and then so it could be less confusing to you guys. Okay, so we have the app up here and we have the components down here. All right, so pretty much at any time we could pass down data using the props like we did here. You see, header, and then we say, hey, state equals to state object. So we're passing down the state down to this. All right, I want you guys to get used to that. And yeah, I think we're ready to move on to the next step, which is actions. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again. I done did it again, man. I came up with this new course, hyperapp.js course. Guys, if you want the full course and you don't want to wait for the videos on YouTube, make sure you go to the website. You know, CodingPhase.com is going to bring you here to the store. There's going to be a whole bunch of courses. Of course, you could just sign up for the Get All Access Pass. And yeah, whenever you use the description below and you use the link through there, guys, you're going to get 50% off. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bow.